Hello, everybody. It is I, Mario Mijares, certified hypnotherapist, also astrologer of many years. And I'm just here to speak a little bit about the full moon, lunar eclipse going on here. Um, Two of the most powerful full moons of the year are the Scorpio full moon and the Taurus full moon. And this is the Taurus full moon, which the Taurus full moon takes place during Scorpio season because Taurus is the opposite of Scorpio. The Scorpio full moon takes place during Taurus season because Scorpio is the opposite of Taurus. And these full moons happen 6 months from apart from each other. The reason why these are two of the most powerful full moons is because whatever occurs in our lives during this type of full moon, it it will last forever. Basically, it has a very lasting effect because Scorpio and Taurus are two of the most intense fixed signs, which means they are a stubborn energy. They will not move. They won't budge. When they become devoted or committed to something, that's where they are at, and it is very difficult for these energetics to change into a different form, into a different perspective, into a different expression, into a different attitude. So they are so powerful. And when I say powerful, I mean that in an unconditional way, meaning they can be powerful into becoming fixed in a negative way or a positive way. It is believed that, I believe it's called the Waisak moon in May, which is the Scorpio full moon that takes place during Taurus season. It was that Scorpio full moon where Shakyamuni Buddha obtained his enlightenment. Now, that is very profound because he obtained spiritual enlightenment sitting under the Bodhi tree during a full moon, and his teachings and his legacy, his energy, has literally lasted forever through the eras, through hundreds, thousands of years. Has it been thousands of years? I forget. But you get what I mean. And so, what's intense about Scorpio full moons and Taurus full moons is the Scorpio element is that element of deep, intense transformation of energetics that are connected to a more unconscious shadow characteristics of our human nature. So I emphasize human nature because it is important to understand that us as humans here, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So, we have to remember that there is a balanced scale of our spirituality and our multidimensionality being experienced and how that integrates and expresses through the human nature, being human, this human physiology, this human biology, this human brain, which has chemicals, neurons, thoughts, an unconscious and a conscious side that formulates and an ego. So Scorpio is the archetypal energy of the unconscious. The unconscious more so connected to a darker expression, going into the taboos. Scorpionic energy can become very obsessive, very tenacious, also insane. Scorpio energy, I believe, is where insanity comes from. Insanity through one's vanity. I call it the vanity insanity spectrum. So a Taurus or Scorpio full moon is very intense because it is a moment where deep psychological patternings and energetics that are more of a lesser vibration sort of come up and surface. And the astrology for these kinds of full moons and whatever else is taking place in the charts is to help us bring it up so we can become conscious of what was previously unconscious integrate it and go through an ego death that leads through a transformational process of ourselves, where the end result is becoming a more whole and authentic expression of our own unique vibration. So going back to Shakyamuni Buddha, who obtained enlightenment during the Scorpio full moon sitting under the Bodhi tree, before he obtained the enlightenment, he was faced by what was it called? Like the seven devils, basically. So he was, deep in trance, meditating, but processing all of this human stuff that lays within the hearts and the minds of every human, which is sexual energy, lust, which is greed, which is wanting of power and control. So, in his ability to bring all of that stuff, which is within every human being, and face it in front of him through these entities, these demonic forces that like to play on these lower human expressions that are just part of our nature, he faced all of those things and transformed himself by seeing straight into the truth, straight into the core of what this is, and being able to rise above it. So Scorpio actually has three expressions. All the signs technically have three expressions. Scorpio is very interesting uh, three expressions, where the first is the scorpion, and the scorpion is a very interesting animal. It is an animal that will kill itself. If you have a scorpion trapped in a room where all there is just walls and a fire, and that scorpion can't escape, that scorpion will probably kill itself. It will probably sting itself with its own stinger, because scorpions are a creature that are nocturnal, and they like to hide beneath rocks, beneath under the ground, beneath the surface of things. And sometimes the light can be so intense for them, where their shadow, where they can't hide aspects of their shadow, it leads them to insanity, to the point of sabotaging or killing themselves, or killing other people, killing the source of where that light is coming from. It's very intense. Scorpio energy is super intense. I am very Scorpio heavy, so I spend a lot of time studying the Scorpio archetype. So then, from the scorpion, Scorpio transforms from that scorpion into the eagle, where once it goes through that death transformational process, and that becomes an eagle, where it soars and flies higher than any other animal can fly. Eagles can fly so high, closest to God. And then not only that, but they have clear, sharp vision, where from those heights they can see a fish swimming in the water. So that next formation of the Scorpio expression is being very wise. So Scorpio, the reason why Scorpio has to be that archetypal energy of connecting into the shadow and the darker aspects of our human expression, is because within Scorpio is the ability to transform, to die, rebirth, and transform itself. So all of these negative characteristics and expressions of our human nature that falls under the scorpionic eighth house domain is capable of being transformed into a higher vibration. So in a way, the sign Scorpio has the highest potential of ascending into enlightenment and wisdom, because of their ability to constantly transform into a more pure vibration. So then Scorpio is the eagle, where it's obtained all this wisdom, all of this clear insight. They can just see through the truth, through all the layers of superficiality, and catch that fish that's in the water. Then the final stage of the sign Scorpio is from the eagle to the phoenix, where we all know the phoenix is a mystical creature that is a bird on fire. It is a bird on fire. And it is a bird that I guess never really dies, because when it dies, it just bursts into flames, and from its ashes births a brand new baby phoenix. So scorpionic energy lives in this repetitive cycle of going into the depths of what's into the depths of how the back of your mind that is unconscious is operating and being you how certain levers within your subconscious mind is being used by your ego, and it's coming from a place of fear. So Scorpio energy has a very intense willpower and strength to it. Scorpio can appear very confident and very strong on the surface. However, deep within inside themselves, the Scorpio energy is actually very afraid. Very afraid, because remember, the first form of the Scorpio expression is the scorpion, and the scorpion is afraid of the light and seeks to hide in the dark. So, though Scorpio has this great willpower and tenacity to become focused and fixated on something and to boldly express themselves, at times they are actually very timid and afraid deep inside. So, where was I going with this? So yeah, the ego behind the head, in our unconscious mind, our ego being fueled by fear and a need to control. So with this full moon in Taurus and Jupiter opposing Mars and Mercury, things can kind of really expand in our personal experiences around something that has suddenly surfaced for you over the last few months that has maybe been too intense for you to consciously emotionally process. So it's sitting in the back of your mind. Um, so this is like, for example, this is like living your life day to day, and then at some moment you can clearly see and you realize that your group of friends actually really don't like you. And now you're having to deal with this awareness of like, okay, these people actually really don't like me. Or the other way, you can realize that you really don't like your friends. You may suddenly so clearly see, because of, Black Moon Lilith is in Virgo, opposite Saturn in Pisces, Venus is in Virgo. So over the last few weeks, you may clearly have come across some enlightening information that is actually hard to accept, because it means having to process an emotional part that is dealing with rejection or some sort of thing. And in that process of becoming clearly aware of certain things that are just not in harmony for you in your business, in your partnerships, in your relationship with your money, in your relationship with your eating, all that sort of stuff. There could be coming up a resistance to want to really look at it and go into it and maybe talk about it, or go with the flow of just wanting to ignore it and bypass it. And now that's a form of ourselves wanting to control the outcome, wanting to control things from fear of how it's going to play out expressing this, or how this thing's going to affect you when moving forward in speaking your truth. So in my example in the written post that I wrote earlier this morning, I mentioned how that this full moon is kind of like the story of somebody who was a really hard alcoholic, but they got sober. didn't go to AA or didn't do the program or anything like that. They just decided, you know what, drinking's not working for me. I need to get my shit together. And they maybe have gone a few years of being completely sober. They got everything going for them. They got the girlfriend. They got a good job. They have money saved up. They're driving a better car. They're feeling better than they ever had. They're looking better than they ever did. And life is going great. They have new friends. Everything has just been expanded. And in the swirl of everything, forgetting that deep inside that this person is an alcoholic and actually has a problem with alcohol. And just one day, without even thinking about it, amongst the excitement of just where life is taking this person, they have a drink, and then it turns into more, and then the next thing they know, they've sort of completely lost control and have been binge drinking for a couple of months, to the point where it's sabotaging everything that they've built in their life. And so now their place of employment knows that they have a problem. The person that they're in a relationship with that really means a lot to them, now they know that this person has a problem. All of their new friends who aren't alcoholics, who don't have this problem, that got their shit together and are probably a little bit more advanced than you, or at least it feels that way. Now they know that you have this out of control drinking problem when that happens. And so the energetics is like moving through the fear of being fully seen, this hidden part of yourself that just came out. And it came out very strong, and it took total control of your life. And all of these people and your place of employment and everything did not know that you carried this type of demon within you. You carried this type of sickness within you. And so this full moon is like bringing this kind of energy. Now, this can be translated in so many different ways, but I'm choosing this example because it's the best example, really. So you take it how it's playing out in your life. So then moving forward, it's like, okay, shit. I think I need to go to AA. I think I actually need help in this whole being sober thing. I was able to do it on my own for a couple of years and I got my shit together, but then, I sort of forgot that, I was, so now this is moving into that transformational period, transforming, dying from the old way, transforming and rebirthing yourself, taking a new direction and a new approach, and how you establish your boundaries, not just in relationships, but your boundaries around where you are going to go socialize, what you are going to communicate to your friends, how you're going to communicate to your social peers about your alcoholism and how you just can't take a drink, or your relationship with how you're going to be spending your money and where you are going to go out in the evenings and that sort of stuff. And going to go see a sponsor and doing something different, becoming humbled enough to receive help and be fully seen by another person, and share all your character defects and everything that you've done wrong, and begin moving through the process of making amends or correcting things that you never allowed yourself to do before. And because of all of the work that you've done for yourself in the years that you were sober before you relapsed, because of that, the people in your life and the place of your employment, they've grown to see who you really are besides this problem. They've seen your character. They've seen your commitment to the place of employment, this new girlfriend or this new boyfriend that you're in. They know what's in your heart. They've seen you work through things, and they just didn't know that you had this secret. They didn't know you had this secret that was so overpowering. And it adds even deeper connections to all of these places, because now they're getting to know what really goes on inside of you, what's really operating inside of you. And it turns out you have quite a story to tell. Turns out you've been through some heavy things in your life, in your earliest years, growing up. You've gone through some things that played a part in developing this disease of being an addict. And so all that does in return is strengthens the respect and admiration people have for you, especially now that you, through the transformation, more boldly and lovingly embody all of yourself, understanding that you don't need to hide this part of yourself, because you know who you are, and even in all your character defects, you are perfect. And the people in your life, because of the work you have been doing in the years prior, see this and understand this. So even though you had this slip up, it didn't completely ruin your life. In fact, it was actually a blessing, because now you are on a more spiritual path dealing with your sobriety. So this is kind of like what this full moon energy is about. It's things coming up. It is realizing that your new relationships with people and how you connect with others is on a more genuine basis. You just don't have judgy, superficial people around you anymore. You have the right people to support you, and you are moving into safer spaces to allow those that you trust to fully see you and transform in the process. And with the Taurus energy, Uranus and Taurus, Jupiter and Taurus, this is assisting all of us in getting into a better vibration for us to magnetize more resources, that so that we can produce a world of abundance that we want to live and experience in. So I don't know if this video is going to make sense to any of you guys. I don't know if it resonates to any of you guys. I'm really trying to speak on the astrology through story, and not by just telling you, oh, the sun is here and then the quarter moon square with the YX equals Z kind of thing, because it's really easy to get really wrapped up in trying to tell you what every single aspect is happening and connect all those things. I'm a storyteller, so I like to channel it all, and how a transit can build up into this one moment, and how that one moment can have so many parallel expressions. The vibration is there, but the way in all the infinite ways that it can play out in every single person's life is going to be uniquely different. Going onto the world stage, dealing with this lunar eclipse, things are going to continue to get more intense in terms of the wars, all the things that are going on here. Now that we are in Scorpio season and going through this eclipse, the thing to understand is fear. Is to not go into fear, because Scorpio energy can very easily go into fear and paranoia. And through that fear and paranoia, their ego can then take over to try to protect and defend themselves, because Scorpio hates being seen. Scorpio does not like being fully seen. So the fear and paranoia triggers the ego and insanity to, in all of these unconscious ways, to control everything that's happening. So, if you've ever watched a movie, or if you yourself had a deep secret that you didn't want anybody to know, you got let's say you're a secret Coke user and you are binge coking all the time, but you have nobody knowing, and then you're always afraid that someone's gonna see you picking up Coke at the Coke dealer's house, or someone's gonna, or people can just tell that you got a little bit of white powder under there. So you're always tripping about what you are trying to hide, and you are fucking horrified of the shame and the guilt and the projection and the rejection that you will receive from other people. So you do all of these extra crazy steps to be in control of your environment and other people's environments. This is constantly trying to play people's minds and manipulating their perspective of what's happening in their relative environment, so they are not seeing the truth that you are hiding from them. So that's the level of insanity that scorpionic energy can express itself. And so with the things going on in the world, it's very easy right now for people to become very afraid and paranoid and trying to control. And so this is a reminder to all of you guys to not get into any debates about the things going on the world stage. No debates about flat earth or round earth. Like, just don't. Just save your fucking energy. Don't do it right now, because this is like, if you're not with me, you're against me. And due to the circumstances, I now have to kill you because you stand for something that means this and that and this and that. And that is not good. So you deserve to die. You deserve to be raped and die. That's the attitude that's being cultivated right now by the masses, not you. I know, not you. You're good. So it's very intense. And for any of us that are dealing with those kinds of things coming up for us, just let go. Don't try to control. Don't try to hold on to anything, and surrender. Don't worry if your secret comes out, because you're no longer trying to control everybody's perspective of the reality surrounding you. Just relax and allow the energies to flow and move through it. It is a process. So these are the kinds of energies where people forget that they are stressed out, and then that they have things going on, that they've been having things going on in their lives, and they can suddenly lash out and attack those most closest to them that mean them no harm. And that's the insanity here. So let go, surrender, going through a process. Do not sabotage your life. Do not attack the people that you already know really fucking love you, just because you are forgetting that you've been stressed out and you're easily irritable, and it is tainting your perspective on those that yourself you love very deeply. So just take a breath, allow 10 seconds to pass, and move on. Just process all this stuff. Again, don't know if any of that makes sense. I'm kind of just babbling, tabbling, babbling, dabby, daddy, 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 da, da. So let me see if is there anything else that I want to say. Oh yes, I have a sale going on. You can book on my website, and when you book a full hour reading, you can enter the promo code COURAGE. Just type in the word COURAGE, and it'll take off $35 from the full price. So you'll be paying $90 for a 1 hour recorded one-on-one consultation reading with me. So if you feel called to, I'm having this sale until the winter solstice, so December 21st. So now's the time to get a reading. If you want to know where these transits are going on in your chart, and also don't forget, I am also a hypnotherapist, so I am here to be of assistance and guide you and help you and hold space for you in any way that I can for your greater good, for your higher purpose. Okay? Love you all. Peace.